Top counter-terror officials are defending their handling of the suspect in the New Jersey and New York bombings. The FBI became aware of Ahmad Rahami in 2004 after a neighbor heard his father call him a terrorist. But federal agents found no ties to terrorism and closed their investigation. Officials spoke yesterday on Capitol Hill, including NYPD Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism, John Miller. He spoke about what can be done to stop potential attacks.
It's not realistic to say every time someone comes on the radar, you're going to be able to follow them or their friends and associates for an extended period of time while you have investigations that are on the front burner involving people who are demonstrably dangerous.
John is also our former senior correspondent. John, good morning. Good to have you back.
Good morning.
Let me first say thank you. I know your team and everybody worked very quickly to catch him. The front page of the New York Times today points out that he was flagged 2 times, once in 2014 when he returned from Pakistan, and then the incident we've been talking about where his father called him a terrorist. Were there missed signs, or are these things reported more frequently than we know about suspects, potential suspects?
Well, there's a 1,000 of these reports to check out this guy or check out that guy that come in every year. And there's also limits, legal limits and limits within the Department of Justice guidelines and the NYPD guidelines about how long you can investigate someone based on something somebody said without evidence of a crime. But the real point here is there will be a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking. That's proper. It comes with the territory. But the time not to do that for us is right now in the throes of an important investigation. The FBI will do that on its own. Inspector generals in Congress will come along and do it for them. So we'll get to that. And there's something useful to that.
Yeah. And are you convinced that he acted alone?
No. And I'm not convinced he didn't. But I think we're at a critical stage here, which is we have a suspect in custody that we have probable cause and plenty of evidence to believe placed those bombs. The question is, could one person make that many devices, cover that amount of ground, do all that by themselves? It's certainly possible, but it is equally possible that there may be others involved, and that is what goes on now.
Yeah. When the commissioner was here, he said he was in critical but stable condition. Have you been able to talk to him, to interrogate him, and to find out what he is saying?
I can't get into that right now.
Why not?
About his wife.
Yes, you can, John. Why not? You're here with friends.
Well, yeah, as long as you're asking, let me tell you.
And to Charlie's question, what about his wife? There are reports that she has arrived back in the United States.
I think we're in the middle of this thing, and who's where and who's talking or not talking is just not a good thing for me to get
All right,
into.
let me ask you this. There's video of the 2 men that police say, we want to talk to these men. They are not suspects. We just want to talk to them. We think that they can help this investigation. If I'm these 2 guys and you're showing this tape, why would I come and talk to you and believe that the police at this point are saying, no, you're not suspects. We just want to talk to you?
Well, first of all, at this point, we don't really think they're suspects.
You really don't? Police really don't think that they're involved in any way?
So, Gail, I looked at that tape the first time, and I see 2 guys coming down the street who take the bag, take the bomb out of the bag, put it down, and walk away. That is highly suspicious. But when you look at the tape a number or more times, what you see is 2 guys who are talking, coming down the sidewalk. One guy notices a bag and stops, and the other guy keeps walking until he realizes his friend has stopped. So this has the appearance of being kind of a, hey, what's that?
Yeah.
Now, picture 2 guys walking down the street, and one of them saying, I don't know how I'm going to get all this stuff in my luggage to go back home that I bought. And, you know, I'm probably going to have to buy another bag. And then you look over and you see what looks like a brand new, perfectly good bag. Now, this is just me. If I open the bag and I see a pressure cooker with a cell phone taped to the top of it.
And wires.
I'm probably going to leave it. But these guys take the pressure cooker out, put it down. They don't seem to pay much attention to it, and they walk away. So, A, we need these 2 guys just to figure out who they are and how they encountered that bag.
Oh, they took the suitcase.
Yeah.
You need the bag.
They need the bag.
B, we want the bag. It may have evidence, it may have explosive residue, it may have other forensics, and it's very valuable.
Got it.
So, to answer your question.
So you really do, the police really just want to talk. Somebody knows who those guys are. Somebody knows.
There's at least two people who know who they are, and that's them. And unless they live under a rock, they now know that it's a good time to call up
but
and
I'm
say,
saying-
hey, you want
Yeah,
this
we got
back?
it.
I'm
We
saying
got
the
it.
picture
We
is
got it.
clear, that's all.
Yeah. But I mean, then there's a universe of people that we're trying to reach around them
We
to
don't
say,
want to be
hey, I
known as
know
people
those
who go
guys.
around and pick up things
John-
out of trash bins. Let me
By
just
the
say-
way, you know, somebody's going to be going to an airport to bring their stuff back, and, you know, they're going to do that explosive residue test, and they're going to say, where'd you get this bag?
can I
So
ask
it'd
you,
be better just to come in
Come
now.
in.
Yeah.
Yes.
do we have any evidence that there's a terror cell operating in New York City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Related to this case?
Any case?
In general, yeah.
No, we don't. And that's an important question to answer. Did he do this alone by taking a long time to prepare and then spending 48 hours to drive around and drop these bombs off? Did he have help making them? Did he have help transporting them? And this is a time where you go through who are his friends, who are his associates, where were they, what do they know?
Are
It's
you learning a
very
lot
busy
from his
time.
bloodstained notebook? You know, they said there's a lot of gibberish, but is it giving you information that you can use?
Well, it's certainly telling. When you're trying to establish a terrorism charge, you want to see the mindset of the individual, and if they were trying to use fear and violence or a series of bombings to frighten the populace, influence the government, bring social change. That's the element of the definition of terrorism.
Go ahead and I'll come back. Go ahead.
How hard is it, John, in this case, to protect against these lone wolves?
The lone wolf is perhaps the most difficult kind of threat we face because if we're dealing with an organization like Al-Qaeda, the network has several stops along the way that offer potential possibilities for intelligence collection. When you've got one person at 1:30 in the morning in the glow of their laptop who's getting inspiration from something they're reading or watching online, and that conspiracy forms somewhere between that computer screen and their brain, the opportunities to collect that intelligence are very limited.
Can I come back to my question about terror cells? Beyond this particular incident and whether there was somebody he was involved with, do we have any evidence that there is a possibility that a terror cell may be here?
At this stage of the investigation, there is zero to indicate that. But that's this stage of the investigation. We're less than a week into this. You got to pull the string, look at the evidence, and see where it takes you.
Yeah, but and as an ongoing way, that's one of your primary responsibilities, I assume, as head of counterterrorism, to see if there's a terror cell anywhere in the metropolitan area.
So we do that every day. This case gives us opportunities to look. But Charlie, we're dealing with three things. A terror cell is old style, still on the radar. Then there is the enabled attack where they contact somebody through social media. They're not a terror cell, but they say, here's a good target, go do this. And then there's inspired, where the person just looks at the propaganda and decides to do it on their own. We don't know which one of these this is till we have all the answers. And right now we're still gathering.
All right, John Miller, it's always good to see you. I know this is a very serious matter, and it's always good to have you here. But I have to ask this, do you miss us as much as we miss you?
I miss you guys a lot.
It's always nice when you come back, John Miller.
Well, it's always nice. Thing
really
is, I
good
get
to
to
see
see you guys every day.
Really good to see
I got a
you.
TV.
Yeah, thank you, John Miller.